allows teens to learn how to cook healthy meals that they like in a clean and safe recreation center in their neighborhood. Working with Class Parks and Grid program of LA City, we have had the opportunity for the past 3 years to cook, teach, and empower teens. Through our mentorship and role modeling, RICO gives us the opportunity to go to these teens. And as college students from these neighborhoods, the same communities, we get to show them by example that they too can pursue their dreams. We started with Sun Valley and have recently expanded to Pacoima and to Compton. We use this platform to teach teens how to use common ingredients found in their homes and turn this into healthy, delicious meals. We've been able to give free cooking lessons, nutrition education, and life skills training by demonstrating how to be agents of change. We've been able to give them skills they can take home, like understanding food labels, food safety techniques, and understanding why certain foods are healthier than others. And this is how we empower them to take control of their health. From this empowerment, they go amongst their friends and family to encourage and inspire healthy eating within their means, as well as being recurrent participants throughout the years. So we've been making strides in developing relationships with local groups such as park staff and donors. We have been consistently reaching out to local grocery stores to establish relationships to further serve our kids. We are constantly recruiting CSUN student volunteers to maintain the program, but we want to improve. We want to make this our vision of what it can be. We've been able to go out into these communities, reaching about 40 teens every cycle, who leave our sessions and make changes to their eating habits at home. Each home having approximately 4 people with 3 cycles each year, this extends our reach from 40 people to 480 people. So not to mention they may have friends that they pass this knowledge to as well. We've even had a few girls start an Instagram page teaching the lessons we are teaching them. Here are our kids.
If I ever want to make food, I know what I'm going to make, like enchiladas that we're making today.
Well, the reason why this cooking class matters to me is because we get to learn new things that schools don't really provide, like how to hold a knife properly and how to make foods healthier.
And I recommend it to my family and friends.
If you guys ain't here, I would probably just be on my phone. It's another way to learn things that your parents don't teach you.
The reason it means a lot to me because if anybody doesn't know how to cook, I could teach them. Like someone teach me and I could teach them and that person could teach someone else.
So we want these kids from our communities to go from reaching for Pop-Tarts and Hot Pockets and Hot Cheetos to eating fresh fruit salad, and to be able to make modified versions of their favorite recipes, but still incorporating a lot more vegetables, using fresh ingredients and reducing the processed element. So while demonstrating this, all can be done while still staying within a tight budget. So because of this, we are expanding and continuously evolving to find ways to improve our program. We want to make this a consistent resource for the teens in the communities that we serve. We want them to learn how to cook a delicious meal that cuts the grease and the sugar. We want these kids to have the opportunity to participate in food preparation using functional equipment. We want professionals to come and discuss health and establish for them how this affects their physical and their mental health. We want them to have their own cookbooks to take home and practice these recipes and feed their friends and their families. So we asked for $200K for a 3-year period to achieve our vision. We want the youth in our communities to be able to have the best version of our program. And we want to make our communities better for them. Okay, so before we start, we literally wrote this like 2 days ago. So I'm still learning. I know I'll have it memorized, I promise.
And the PowerPoint is absolutely a work in progress.
Yes.
So a couple of simple things that'll make your life easier. So there's something with PowerPoint called a hyperlink. You can link to a video so you don't have to exit out of the slides, go into video. And if you don't know, if you can't figure out how to do it, ask forward. Take yourself back to when we were with partners, and if you remember the well, it's not it's presenting the picture of change. So you started and you said, here's what we do and here's what we want more money to do more of. And I didn't hear anything about what these kids, what the normal, you know, like what's the alternative to what this great program is that you've put together. And I think you had that in the past, and it was very good. And the looks that people are giving each other, I can see the told you so. But I would, you know, a day, you know, do the day, you know, a day in the life has two paths. Here's path A for many kids today, and here's path B, which we can get many of these kids to go down, and path B is all positive, and then talk about why life is better under path B.
Yeah, because I remember at the beginning of the other presentations, you kind of like started with hot Cheetos or something that out of the whole presentation, and felt like that was pretty relevant and maybe something you might want to think about. So.
First of all, can we start with the time? Because even though you were reading,
Oh, yeah.
let's just see.
It was less than 5 minutes,
Okay.
so it was like about 4:30. I kind of stopped it a little after, but it was like 4:30. Mm-hmm.
What are the props for?
Those are Lawrence. I was returning.
Oh, because I saw some stuff and I'm like, oh, are they gonna show like
Yeah.
day A or day B as he was saying? I'm
Oh,
like,
that would be awesome. Can we
Yes.
do that?
yes, that's true.
I want to ask a question. So in our, how we've been structuring it and how we had to rewrite the speech, we had a version beforehand that introduced a story. We had a character and
Yes.
what her situation is. This whole food desert situation, like mom's working a lot of hours and she goes to the park, and then we're like, oh, but at the park, now she can take part in our program, and then we go from there. Would that work better, or introducing our program at first and foremost be better?
What I wrote was, where's the problem?
Okay.
And you used to have the problem. It was long.
You needed to get tuned.
It
not-
needed to get tuned, but
not
not.
excised.
Yeah. So even though you're already doing this, this is is you know, a small solution to the problem that you want to grow. But I don't know what the problem is otherwise, and you know, I get that you want more money to bring more people in, but why are you doing this in the first place? And so that was your situation in the last meeting, which was good, but just maybe needed to be fine-tuned.
So it would be good to have our problem, our little story, and it's okay that our program
Well,
isn't
it would
introduced
be-
later?
Absolutely.
I think it would be
Okay.
nice to have, here's the problem, here's how we've started to address it. It's going really well, you know, here's a video of what people are saying, why they like it and why they think it's great. Now we would like to expand this to offer it to more people, and, you know, that, I think that's what you're looking for. I think on this, I can't see any, I can't read these words, and you know, the room is much bigger, so you really have to be able to, if you're not gonna walk through it, then I have to be able to read it.
Okay.
And in your speech, and especially because you were reading, you use the term "we want" almost every sentence. We want this, we want this, we want this, we want this. And I know you're not gonna be reading, most likely, hopefully. If you have to, that's fine. But if you are going to, you need to be able to look up, you need to be able to make contact.
No, I won't be reading.
Okay, that's fine.
Are you the speaker officially?
Officially.
Okay, sometimes you aren't, in the previous one.
No, I am.
I liked the video, but there was some sound quality variation that threw me off a little bit, and so you might wanna, if you can, I don't know if you can, you know, make sure that the sound is consistent, because some were softer, some were louder, And, you know, in one of them, it was soft too loud, and what she had to say I thought was important, so that was a little glitchy for me.
So with the video, if like, you don't mind to do it, I think you've got 10 to 20 seconds you could edit out without losing any of the important stuff. The important stuff is really great, but when you go through it, I think it'll be pretty obvious what's rambling and what's great messaging. Sandy's point about it's called sound mastering. It's leveling the sound level across each of the strips is really important in a large audience. Do you have video editing software that I mean, even the free stuff, you know, is frankly easy to use and quite good. You're not doing anything fancy. So the free version of Final Cut will work just fine if you don't already have your favorite.
Yeah, we can do that.
Can you go back to the first slide where you showed your first 2 photos? That's just an empty room. Unless you guys talk about that you use certain spaces that are close to the students that they could easily access. Otherwise, I don't, did you guys set up those decorations?
No. Our original intent was to kind of show, because class parks signify as like clean, accessible, safe spaces. So it's just kind of showing that it is a clean space with no hazards in it, but I see what you mean. It is literally an empty.
Yeah, no. I didn't know that the class parks was actually an acronym. I just thought it was class parks.
Okay.
And what do you see as the prominent fixture in the picture on the left? I didn't
The
notice it.
Well, we've noticed, and
Yeah.
we'll change that up. We have more pictures now.
So, okay, so to me, the heart is what you guys had at the beginning that's kind of been going away, but what I also want to acknowledge you for is some of the clarity, you're bringing your program into its stronger visibility. So I think we were all saying, we missed the heart. There are 2 heartbeats, I think, that I don't think you want to lose, that I remember, and I'm with you on the Cheetos, but one heart to me is that you guys are from these communities. You have to say that, you know, like my team is representing, you know, we lived here, this child is me. If somebody, I don't know if that is you, but like that, when you said that at the beginning, I was like, I adore this program, whatever it is. And then the second, I'm sorry, I got lost in the adoring that again. Okay, that's one. And then the second beat to me is that the child story, what with the Cheetos, was going to be the plan direction 1, right? And what we all didn't respond to is just that it kept going and going and going, and now there's crime, and now they've had a unwed mother, and the whole thing. And we're like, well, hold on, it's a cooking class, right? We can't solve every single thing, but it's like, I like that the person alone, eating unhealthy alone, is like and not even having anything, you know, other options, that kind of deal. Like finding the right bookmarking of that you are then going to change. It's not that all that other stuff isn't true, it's just you guys aren't going to tackle, you hope it'll trickle, but your program's going to tackle this problem, and that's what she's saying about the problem. So that's the heart at the beginning for me. Then what is still there for me is, what are you doing day to day? If I'm an observer looking down, right, I don't know what's going on, it's like these pictures and your words, it's like kids come in, it's kind of like the 1 to 6 week PTSD therapy. What's like, they come to you in neutral, safe spaces. How many times? 50 times? 1 time? Is it like, and they participate in a cooking class or a series of community great things that you do? Like, I don't even, it's just, yeah, if someone touches our program, these are the resources. And maybe you want to show, like, maybe it's a list more than images, where it's like, they're going to get these things. And it may be practical on one slide, and then other benefits of that. Because what's been coming out since you've been speaking is that by having a safe space, it provides something, right?
Right.
So the safe space, this room doesn't communicate. You provide that, but then they get not unsafe, right? They get to meet peers in a safe environment, right? So it might be that one is practical, like this is what they get access to, like stuff like cooking skills, right? That's on that side. But then the other part is they get these other things that are even better, that are like not as on the ground.
And I think you're right. If I was, by just trying to listen to you, if you're not clear and enunciate well and, very precise in your words, I would rather read it as you're saying it. So if you were saying, we give them this, we give them this, we give them this, maybe have a slide that says, we give them this, we give them this, we give them this. And as you're reading it, I'm not listening to you, I'm reading it that point, because that way I have that visual image that I take away. Because you have a lot of information that you crammed into your 5 minutes that you say. So I'm seeing pictures, but I'm not really getting, I'm not walking away with being able to repeat back to you where my money's going towards. And that,
So
and how many people this might affect. Are we talking about, we'll have 10 more classes, or are we talking about, how many different neighborhoods, how many kids do we think that's gonna target? Do you have any estimations on impact?
So we're targeting right now class parks, so parks, recreation centers that have that program already happening. So I think it is 37 total in Southern California. So we are hoping to.
How many people are gonna be impacted by this additional funding?
It's we have 3 sites. There's about an average about 10 students, 10 teens each site. If we assume there's a household of 4, it'll affect 40 people.
So you could have a slide that says, each site has 10, which then affects 4.
We're working
It'll
on
like
it.
branch
Oh,
out and
okay.
spread.
But then, how, now you're gonna have more funding going to these sites, so now we're gonna impact what we're already doing. It's gonna multiply times 5 or 10 or so. This is how much it's gonna trickle. Okay.
I'm thinking we could potentially say like, this can serve as a model to expand into all other class parks. Would that be?
Well, I wanna know what my money's going towards.
Yeah.
How many people is my money gonna affect?
Gotcha.
Is it to develop the model, or is it to actually benefit the people?
So let's go to the last slide with that question, because
Yeah.
you kind of, I think, try to get at it, but you really don't here.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call it one-time, long-term, recurring. So one of these are one-time expenses, one is recurring. But what's unclear to me is how much are the one-time expenses, and why would research be recurring?
And why, but it says at the top, it's only for 3 years of operation, so how can you have recurring?
Well, you can have recurring
Within the 3 years.
3 years. Is that the intent? Okay. So what's the breakdown between one-time and recurring of the 250?
Most of it is gonna fall on the one time because it's mostly like kitchen equipment and things like that.
So,
So what's-
I don't have the specific, we have it listed, I don't have it on.
In finance, it's capital and then there's working capital. So
Okay.
that's just capital assets, and work is recurring is working capital.
And then on this one, it's more just like the ingredients, but that's kind of not even like gonna be an issue, because
Right now, we're reaching out to different grocery stores and this and that, so that we can get donations in that way.
So you can say, in other words, in fixed costs,
So then,
operating costs.
if you believe so you're all volunteers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a big deal. You have committed people who are giving up their time for free. If you really want to be impactful in like how good of a deal this is, if you will, I would have like labor for the instructor, like cost of the instructors, and then put a big X through it. Because, well, we're volunteering. Ingredients, put an X through 80% of it, because 80% of our food is donated. And and there's your sustainability. Because that way most things are off the left. But if you're going to show it this way, then put real numbers behind it and make it impactful like that.
and then the other thing is we were talking a little bit, RICO, your naming,
Have you ever heard of a RICO offense?
Oh, no.
Don't.
No, I'm just, what?
No.
God, you are all such innocent people. Google? What's a RICO offense?
It's
But
racketeering.
while I'm looking that up, I mean, rico also means rich in Spanish, right?
And good.
Delicious.
And good. So, I mean, I wonder if you want to use the acronym or not.
Well, depends on what we're about to see. Oh, okay. Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. Okay, so I'm gonna write that down.
So you might, you can say the name, but you may not want to use the abbreviation unless you're already using
Or put the
that.
definition of it in Spanish
Yes, okay.
There we go.
below, so that they don't go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Say, you know, the name of ours is this, which means in Spanish this. But I'm with you. Your brain bounces quite a bit. He's like, here's how you cut video. Here's RICO offenses. And the economic cost of this is this. You've been around a while, huh?
My sister's a film producer. My brother's a Wall Street director.
Yep. You've been well trained.
Well
You come, or
trained
you've all
by
fallen
Wall
off of a very powerful tree.